Rob Johnson in for Steve Cochran. All right, we want to talk about all things real estate here, and finances. David Hochberg from Team Hochberg. You know him well. He's joining us now, Homeside Financial. Great to be with you. And he's in studio.
I'm in studio.
Hi,
which
David.
is not always so common around these parts.
I like seeing people face to face. I heard you guys talking about the commercial real estate side.
Yeah.
Which was a fascinating conversation.
What did you think about that?
I caught bits and pieces of it. Rob, I was walking over here, so I couldn't really listen in depthly. But here, anytime, I don't understand why you would want to incentivize somebody who's got an investment property that's empty. I own investment properties in commercial space in the city of Chicago, and I'm upset when the guys I'm partners with don't have somebody in the first floor renting it out to bring in, revenue and income. I don't understand why you should have incentivized somebody to put somebody in an empty space. But that's, what do I know?
But if that's strategy for somebody, and it's
sure,
and they're not alone. Obviously, they're addressing this sort of issue. Doesn't make
sense to me on a business side.
It doesn't make sense to you, but isn't part of it like, well, at least they're trying to do something, because this isn't known as being probably the most tax-friendly county in America, nor is it forward-thinking. So does part of you even appreciate it on one level, even though you would say, fill that spot?
Well, here, part of me would think if any way to raise money to take care of the homeless man at the Howard Street, L Street that was masturbating this morning, I'm all for it, okay? I don't understand why we don't take care of the homeless people. But if this gets the commercial property owners who make money by filling space more incentive to fill space so they can make money, yeah, great. I don't understand why they're not filling it, is what my argument would be. I don't understand that. And the other thing is, I like, as long as we're talking taxes, right, it's August 1st, tax bills should be out. We're so flush with cash here in Cook County that we could just roll the tax bills out, until the end of the year like we did last year. $1,000 to Fritz Kagi or Tony Preckwinkle, or $2,000. I'll make it $3,000 if both of them show up at the same time. Here in this studio, I got to show on another station, more than invited into my show. Breaking news, Nick Gale. A G note for each one of them if they come separate, or 3 Gs if they come in together, to explain to the county of Cook, the residents of Cook County, why you can't get the tax bills out on time and how incompetent you are to go another full year to not get your tax bills out on time.
So now you're going to give them a talent fee just to give us the answers.
I'm not giving it to them. I'm going to donate it to their favorite, their favorite charity.
Now, if they show up here, and that's your other program.
But if they will.
You have to be in studio, though.
That's part of the deal.
We can't you got to be here to...
Will it be like This Is Your Life? It's like, okay, we actually have someone here for you, Fritz. It's David Hochberg.
Fritz Kagi. We can't even find him. I mean, unless he's running for office, he's in the witness protection program. I'll tell you what, Fritz, I'll bring your favorite snack. Tony, whatever you want. You like bagels, you like croissants, down the street, I'll pick up a skillet for you. They make delicious skillets down the street. The Brussels sprout skillet is delicious. It's healthy. I'll be more than happy to bring you in, whatever. We'll go to the all pan downstairs. We'll get a couple of croissants, whatever you need. Just get your rear ends in here and answer the people's questions about why you're so incompetent that you can't get the tax bills out on time. Okay, I digress.
I know. Let him breathe.
They're going to give him breathe.
It's okay.
The programming director's coming down here like, where do we sign this guy up?
I did her loan.
I know.
I'm tight with her. She's good.
No, what happens, his hands get like twitching, he gets going.
It pisses me off.
I know.
You know what it is? You are held accountable to the people. You are doing a job. You did the smoke screen last year that you upgraded the computer system for the first time since the 70s. All right. You want to do that? Fine. You don't have a backup computer system to make sure that the new computer system that you have is working fine. Okay, now you're 12 months later and you're under the same cloud. Now they're all hiding behind Mama Bear because you can't get Fitz Kagi to come out of whatever cocoon he's in to have a conversation as to how come everything's screwed up.
Have you gone down there?
Gone down to Fit? No, I've talked to Scott Simpson, whatever the hell his name is. And then, now they've all huddled around Mama Bear, Tony Preckwinkle. Because now you got to go through the county. So I went to the county. I requested somebody to come on. And they were like, well, we said everything in the press release, which said nothing.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, it's really amazing when you run on, transparency.
Bunch of
and
crap.
Then it's not only is it not transparent, but you're like, where are these people? Where are they?
Yeah.
How'd that work out for Lori Lightfoot? Oh, yeah, we're going to be open. We're going to broadcast all the city hall meetings first weekend. She shut down all that stuff.
David, I want to ask you, we talk a lot. You're so good.
Are you sure you want to go on? No, I'm kidding. We'll move on. Because this is like just winding him up.
I know. We could talk about this for the next
right
3 hours. But I want to move on to helping. I want to move on to helping the listeners. I want to move on to helping us. Okay, thanks.
I thought I was.
You're so good. You always are. But you have so many good things that you can do for all of us. So you're always helping everybody with their finances. Well, the feds raised the rates again last week. How is that affecting us?
Okay.
And what do we do about it?
So once again, if you're trying to get a car loan, your car loan's more expensive. If you're trying to get credit card debt, if you have credit card debt, your credit card debt's more expensive. If you have $100,000 on a line of credit in March of last year, you paid a minimum at Prime $271 a month. Today, you're paying $710 a month, which is a $439 a month increase. Those are real numbers. All right, real numbers. So I've got borrowers who have a first rate that we got in the 2s and the 3s during COVID when they were at record lows, are sitting with the HELOC, and they need, their $30,000, $40,000 HELOC has doubled over the past year and a half. They're like, I want to roll it in. I'm like, you're out of your mind. You've got $300,000 first loan in the 2s and the 3s. You got 40 G's over here, interest only, that went from 3.5 to 8.5. If you rolled it all together, you're going to be in the high 7s now. Just grin and bear it. But the challenge is, it's costing our listeners more money. Our listeners don't have the money. I just got back from vacation. Okay, I called the cab, American Cab, take me from O'Hare home. Right, we got in 9:30. The guy's like, he picked us up around 10. I'm like, how's it going? How's business? He's like, I've been waiting since 7:30 for a fare in the pen.
Wow.
I'm like, is that normal? He's like, no, business is down a lot. Okay, and when you talk to other service providers, okay, that work on cash, that do serve, everything is down. Okay, I went to get a couple of umbrellas for our backyard because we, whatever. I need a couple umbrellas. I go to the guy that I go to. I'm like, how's business? He's down. We're down 40%. Wow. So all of these guys all of these business owners, men and women business owners, right, guys in a generic sense, are hurting because listeners out there are cutting back. What do you have now? We're getting ready for school. Okay, so you're getting ready to go to Target, to Walmart, to wherever you go to get to Costco to load up. Okay, but you don't have the money. So now it's going to go on a credit card that's costing you, it used to cost you 15, 16, 17%. It's now 25, 27, 28%. And it's just tough to maintain the minimums. The unemployment numbers came out yesterday, right? They were expecting 200. It came out like a 320, which typically it's a bad sign if you lost your job because the unemployment insurance numbers went up. Typically, that's great for mortgage rates because that tells the Fed that the economy's slowing and that more people are losing their jobs, which is bad, but theoretically it's good for interest rates. And then you've got the downgrade of the U.S. debt. Whoever said it didn't matter, it freaked the markets out yesterday, and it freaked the mortgage market out. All the mortgage people were like, yeah, great. The unemployment numbers came out worse than expected, which is bad if you'd lost your job, but it's good for mortgage rates because typically the bonds trade down. The bonds shot up yesterday. I mean, it's crazy what's going on.
I want you to hold that thought. I do want to continue with interest rates in the next block. We have David Hochberg with us for another segment. Fortunately, he's been terrific so far, and we're going to get even more good stuff out of him here in a second.
How do I get a pair of those white glasses? Those are cool,
I'm telling you what. Listen,
those are really
butter me up. Here we go.
Bring
Rob Johnson in for Steve Cochran, and we're talking to David Hochberg, who knows a little bit about everything and a lot about the important things. Yeah. And we just and so far the interview's going great. We just got some feedback. We got a caller who thinks the world of David. Let's listen.
Pretty good.
They think you're pretty good.
Pretty good.
No, that's not horrible. I mean, but you have another segment to just drive this point home, man.
Yeah,
you're doing
bring it, David.
That sounds like somebody from Bridgeport.
If you could just up the energy a little bit, that would make things a lot better.
I'll try. And say a special shout out to Julie Gumina.
Yes.
I always mess up her last name. She's a divorce attorney listening. So divorce is a major impact. A lot of stress on marriages due to, we're getting a ton of calls from divorce attorneys and from listeners who are going through divorce, divorce attorneys who want guidance for their clients who are going through a divorce, because a lot of the divorces that we deal with, there's a home involved.
Sure.
And you have kids involved. And when you have homes involved and kids involved, it gets very expensive, and figure out who's going to keep the house, where are they going, how much are you going to give the kids, are you going to split it up, are you going to have joint custody. Thank you for that big word. Yeah. So a lot of things going on, a lot of divorce calls. We typically get the divorce calls in January, because January is technically the largest divorce month and bankruptcy month, because you're right after the holidays.
Yeah, because it's a new year.
Yeah, you want to start the new year.
What do I want to do differently this year?
Yeah.
Not be married to you.
Yeah, I'm going to give that putz one more time through the holidays to see if he or she made it a difference. There's still a putz. I'm getting out.
Nick.
You sober up.
Don't give me any ideas.
It's dry January, and you're like, I'm out. This is bad. This is bad.
Well, this is what it's like when I'm sober.
But this is, but to your point here, David, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
And I know a financial advisor that spends a lot of time talking about these issues as well, and has, sort of publicly. And it's interesting that you would say, oh yeah, divorce. I mean, that's a big deal, but you do have to spend a lot of time, because you just pointed out the complicated property issues that are involved there. And what kind of advice do you give? I mean, I know it's not one size fits all. Every situation is different, but it is divorce.
Well, here's what I recommend. If it's an amicable divorce, which you got a 50-50 shot in that, right? Half the time they want to throw torpedoes at each other and start throwing grenades at each other and blow each other up, right? But on the other 50%, if it's an amicable split and there's kids, and you just refinanced or bought a home and have a rate in the 2s and the 3s, okay, there are some financial experts out there, his name rhymes with Dave Ramsey, who says you have to refinance, okay? I love Dave Ramsey. He does a great job. He's on all these different websites, and he's got a great business, but he says that you should refinance, and I completely respectfully disagree with Mr. Ramsey. If you have a cordial relationship and you have kids, and you've got somebody in a rate of like 2 or just say 3%.
How can you pass that up? How can you get out of that?
Well, here's how you can get out of that, right? As long as you trust the other party. So Jane and I are married. Jane, we got 3 kids. One, he keeps the house. Great. We refinanced a couple of years ago, got a rate in the 3s.
And everything's going great. We love each other.
We love each other, but we got to get out, right? She's got something on the side. I got something on the side. Everything's good. It just didn't work out. The flame went out. Okay. Listen.
We're still friends.
Right. Nick could,
well, let's see how you guys deal with this property issue, and then we'll see if you're friends.
No. Here's how we deal with it, right? So I want to keep the kids in the house in the same school district, because I don't want to move them. I got a $300,000 mortgage at 3%. Okay, and I know as the husband leaving, if you have to refinance, it's going to cost me a ton more money to help you pay that 7% mortgage now instead of the 3% mortgage. So it's a simple thing. All divorce attorneys have to do, if both parties agree to it, is say that Jane is going to occupy the home located at 123 Happy Meal Lane. Jane is responsible for the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and all upkeep of the property at 123 Happy Meal Lane. That takes me off of the responsibility when I go to qualify for another mortgage. It doesn't take me off the responsibility if Jane misses a mortgage payment and blows up my credit.
But you're paying me alimony so I can afford it.
And I'm on the mortgage and I could track it.
Yeah.
So if Jane doesn't make the mortgage payment, and you could put in the stipulation in the mortgage that Jane has to make the mortgage payment by the 5th of the month, or it's going to come out of the child support.
I know, but I needed to buy back-to-school clothing for Susie, Billy, and Bobby.
You come to me for your Mahjong debt, too. I understand. So, and all your quilting supplies.
Let's talk about this, though. It's time to go back to school for everybody. Yeah. Kids, my son's 18. He's going to go play junior hockey in Wisconsin, but all of his friends are going to college in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right.
And here we go. First time leaving home.
Yeah.
Credit card. I want my kid to have money.
Sure.
Do I give my college-bound kid a credit card? Is that a good idea? Is that not such a great idea?
It's a great idea if you maintain control over that credit card. So the best way that I explain it is you set up a credit card for him or her. You open up a Team Hochberg Fresh Start secured Visa credit card, right? You put in $500 or $1,000, whatever it is, a $500 minimum. Sally or Johnny, who's going to college or play hockey, someplace, can now use that instead of their debit card. Every time they use that to buy needed supplies, not go out and screw off, but use that to buy needed supplies, books, sandwiches, whatever, coffee, whatever they're doing, tickets to the football game or basketball game or jersey, whatever they buy, you can monitor it. And then over the next 4 years, while Johnny and Sally are in college or playing hockey, they're building their credit until they get out. Now, if they go to apply for a credit card at 18, most likely they're not going to get it. That's why you need a secured credit card. Yep. That's why another reason we partnered with Kane County Teachers Credit Union, Team Hochberg secured Visa credit card, no annual fee, can't get turned down unless you owe Kane County Teachers Credit Union a debt from a past bankruptcy or you didn't pay a bill. That's the only reason you get turned down. But this way you can monitor the account. Okay, you gain access to your kid's account. You can put money in the account if you want to reload it, and that son or daughter who's going to be going away can start building credit over the next 4 years.
So my son's, this is going to be his 4th year living away from home.
Yep.
And I mean, he has a debit card. So same thing for a debit card. Oh. Same principles are involved here because I like the debit card because I can keep track. And when he gets loan, he has to be like,
right. You know. You could do the same thing with the secured Visa credit card. You could gain access to the account and put the money in. He's getting 0 points. He's getting 0 credit on. You get points on his credit score.
And how do people get the Team Hochberg credit card?
Simple. You go to 56david.com/fresh start. 56david.com/fresh start. We've helped out listeners coming out of bankruptcies, listeners coming off a divorce where they got blown up by a spouse, listeners whose kids are going to college, listeners who kids are 23 years old trying to buy a bed, no credit, couldn't buy a bed, so they're taking the money, fronting the money for the kids so the kids could start building credit. It's a great resource. Using your debit card, other than getting cash out of a cash machine, is the most unwise investment. Google Frank Abagnale. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Great movie.
Great movie. Leonardo DiCaprio played him. Tom Hanks played the FBI guy. Google Frank Abagnale debit card, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is the biggest scam artist on the history of the planet. Went to he's so good, the FBI hired him, and he's against debit cards for the same reasons I am. Oh. It makes no sense.
David Hochberg, Team Hochberg.
Thanks,
hey, can you bring more energy next time?
Hey, Tony and Fritz, a G note each. If you come in separate, 3 G's together, Nick, run with that at the top of the news. I'll bring in snacks, donuts, whatever you want. We're bringing salads if you want to eat healthy.
Tacos.
Whatever you need. Tacos. I don't care. Come on, guys. Come out of your cocoon and talk to the listeners of Cook County who you work for.